yet another exciting evening in the city of Port. Welcome to yet another edition of Sport Extraordinary right here on Atlantic Network. My name is Emmanuel Michael. Glad to be here this evening to take you through the latest happenings in the ever-busy world of sport. And of course, the central focus is about Manchester United tonight because they will be in action against West Ham United in the English Premier League. But the big question remains that Michael Carrick has been doing pretty well so far. 4 games played, 4 wins, and United are just 12 points adrift of the league leaders, talking about Arsenal. Will it be right to say that Manchester United are in the title chase, looking at the way they are going? And for Chelsea Football Club, they welcome Leeds United to the Stamford Bridge tonight. You could also recall that the first leg ended 3 goals to 1 in favor of Leeds. Is it going to be a revenge mission for the boys in blues tonight? All these and many more is going to form the bulk of our conversation here on the show this evening. But you know how we do it. I will take a quick break. When I'm back, I introduce my guests, and then we'll dive straight to the crux of the matter. Don't go anywhere, because I'll be back in a jiffy. right, welcome back from that short break. Still onto Atlantic Television Network, and this is Sport Extraordinary, a program designed to bring you the latest happenings in the ever-busy world of sports. I have joining me via the Zoom line this evening a seasoned journalist who is joining us from the city of Uyo this evening. Mr. Bassi, good evening and welcome to Sport Extraordinary on Atlantic Television Network.
Good evening. Thank you very much, Emma, for having me on your show. And good evening, our viewers.
All right, without much ado, let's dive straight to the crux of the matter this evening as the Executive Director of Sport Development and Operation, Edo State Sport Commission, Mrs. Sabina Chikere has set a bold tone ahead of the second edition of the Niger Delta Game, describing the regional sports festival as one of its kind. Ms. Chikere made this known in an exclusive interview with newsmen, assuring that preparations are in top gears as Edo State readies itself to host the competition. Mr. Bassi, the first of the Niger Delta Games took place back then in your home city, talking about Uyo Akwa Ibom State to be precise. And the second edition is coming up very soon, and Edo State will be the host of that particular one. Edo State finished third in that very first edition, which took place in Uyo. A few weeks ago, I saw some clips and, preparation are also on ground coming from Akwa Ibom State regarding the second edition of the Niger Delta Sport. First off, before we talk about the preparation ahead of the second edition, can you take us through some of the positive that you can say that you took home from the first edition?
Well, thank you very much for that question. The second edition is almost here, just a matter of 10 days from now. We'll be having the second edition. For the positive that we took home after you hosted the inaugural edition is that some of the, of course, many of the sporting facilities that we used for that competition had a facelift. I remember the organizers took over the swimming pool at the Uyo Township Stadium. They refurbished it, and many other courts, the tennis courts, the basketball courts. They provided some equipment, which after that particular Niger Delta Games, they handed it over to the Sport Ministry of the state. And so some of those equipment have actually helped our athletes to prepare even for the second edition. But aside that, I think we also benefited because some stars, some athletes we also discovered in that particular competition that were from Akwa Ibom, and that has also added to our athlete list, the ones that we are going to use even for the second edition. So there were lots of positive, talk about the accommodation, talk about the local economy, talk about the economy. There was a boost in the economy, transportation. So on the whole, Uyo benefited greatly from the first edition of the Niger Delta Games in terms of equipment and in terms of human capital development.
Moving on to the second edition, as preparation gears up, Edo State, what are your expectations for the second edition?
Well, I must commend the organizers, the organizers, Dunamis, and of course the sponsor, the NDDC, for staging this kind of competition in the Niger Delta. I think it's very good. If you look at the history of Nigerian sports, you will realize that most of the athletes that have made this country proud, you can trace their origin to Niger Delta. You want to talk about the likes of Stephen Keshi, Samson Siasia in football. You want to talk about Samuel in boxing. There are a whole lot of them that have actually made this country great. And so I'm happy that Niger Delta, the NDDC, beyond developing infrastructure, the roads, the classroom, and what they were supposed to do as their mandate, they are also going into investing in the future when it comes to sport development, and it's a very good thing. that this is going on. The second edition, I believe, is going to be better than what we did in Akwa Ibom. Edo is a traditional home of sports, and last edition, rightly mentioned, they finished third on the log, and so that shows you that this state is a sports-friendly state. We know Philip Schwaibu is from that state, and he's a lover of sports. The DG of the National Sports Council or Commission. So I think it's a National Sporting City rather. So I think it's a good thing. I believe Edo will give a better performance. The unity touch came down to Yo today, and we had the should I say the chairman of the main organizing committee, Itiak Boko. He was in town, and he said the Edo State government, they've concluded everything to make it a successful outing. And so we believe that from the 19th, that will be the arrival of athletes, to the 20th running to 26th, that we are going to have a nice time in Edo. And then not just having this nice time, new athletes, new talent, new stars will be discovered that will represent various states and also go on to represent the country in the Commonwealth game that is coming up later this year, and even in the Olympic games that will be having later on.
All right, massive one as the Niger Delta State buzzing with excitement as the second edition of the Niger Delta Games is gearing up. Edo State being the host, they are preparing massively. And of course, the torch has, kick-started off. We hope to see some great talent being discovered via these regional sports activities. And we have lots and lots of raw talent cut across the streets and states of the Niger Delta region that we can actually harness. And this is the breathing ground where we can actually, unearth some of this new talent. All right, Basi, away from that, because of time, let's dive straight to the world of football, starting from the home scene, that is the Nigerian Premier Football League. As Kun Khalifat FC head coach, Obi Nauzoho has reflected on his team's home win over Shooting Stars. The Owerri club defeated Shooting Stars 2-0 in the Nigerian Premier Football League match day 25 encounter at the Dan Anyam Stadium in Owerri on Sunday. James Ekebuike gave the hosts the lead in the 24th minute, while Blessed Yamu doubled the advantage 2 minutes after the break. Uzoho said the win is a testament of his team's hard work and dedication. The gaffer also praised the home fans for their support throughout the game. Meanwhile, despite Kun Khalifat FC's 2-0 victory, they remain rooted at the bottom of the league table. I know, Basi, you are aware that just a few weeks ago, Kun Khalifat FC privately they threatened to pull out of the Nigerian Premier Football League because of the sanction that was levied on them. 10 million naira, 3-point deduction, minus 3 goals as well, because of the fact that they failed to honor a game. But after that threatened, they also reinstated themselves back into the league again. And over the weekend, they got a 2-0 victory against Shooting Stars. Despite that 3 points, they are rooted bottom of the table, 20th, with just 25 points after 25 games played. Are you thinking the direction I'm thinking, that Kun Khalifat FC might not just survive this relegation battle with 13 games to go?
Well, they may not survive. They may not survive. It was sad that when we got the story of their withdrawal, beyond what we saw on the pages of the letter signed by that club, I can also tell you that that club is going through financial stress and issues at the moment. We've also gotten stories that some of their players have not been paid and a whole lot of issues. And that raises question, can private investment in football actually thrive in the Nigeria Professional Football League? We've had the days where we had Ifeanyi Uba. We've had the days, even Remo Stars. Maybe what Remo have as an edge over others will be the fact that the man who owns the club, Soneme, he has lots of investment in football already, even outside the shores of this country.
True.
And so he knows how to manage. He has the funds to, but outside Remo Stars, how many privately owned clubs can actually survive in the league? It raises a lot of questions. But for Kun Khalifat, it's good that they are back in the league, because that would have been a terrible thing for them to have pulled out, and then we have 19 teams. That means all the points, all the teams that have gotten points from Kun Khalifat, their points would have been deducted, and that would also change the whole when it comes to the Premier League. But I'm happy that they are back. I'm happy that they were able to find a common ground with the LMC. They are back in the league, and when they came back, good win they had over Shooting Stars, Warri last weekend. But just like you said, mine is not even will they survive as in relegated. My own is that will they be able to execute the remaining 13 matches before the end of the season? Because they may not come out to say they are in financial crisis, but that club is in financial crisis at the moment. And it raises question if they complete the season or if they will still pull out at some point in the season. But all the same, that they are back, and we hope that they can just stay around. They may not survive to stay in the league, because from where they are at the moment, even with that win against Shooting Stars, safety is not guaranteed for them. They still need to do a whole lot. And with players that are not motivated, players that are not paid, with financial constraint at the club, your guess is as good as mine that they may not escape relegation. But we just want them to stay at the end of the season. And these are the issues that Nigerian Football Federation, the LMC, should be looking into. How can private clubs survive in Nigeria? Is a big question. Everything cannot be government. Private clubs should also be able to breathe, and there must be ways to encourage them to continue to play in the NPFL.
There must be ways to encourage this privately owned club if we truly want to, of course, keep building and having a very viable leagues. We've seen private teams come and go without staying afloat the top flight division, the likes of MFM and many other, because of the financial issues that come with prosecuting 38 matches per season. It's costly and financial inducive for many of these clubs. Currently, as we speak, Kun Khalifat FC, just like you heard from Basse, they are struggling financially, and I'm afraid they might not just survive the relegation battle, but we'll just keep our fingers across, hoping that with 13 games to go, they will fight till the end. Away from that, let's head straight and talk about the CAF Champions League, because 3 clubs have secured their places in the CAF Champions League quarterfinals as the 2025/2026 group stage moves closer to its final round. This comes following conclusion of the group stage matches, match the 5 fixtures which took place on Sunday. The 3 clubs that have secured qualification for the CAF Champions League quarterfinals are Pyramid, Al Ahly, and Stade Malien. Basse, with a game to spare, 3 clubs have already booked their place into the quarterfinal of the CAF Champions League. But that is not a news, and it doesn't really concern us as Nigerians, because what concerns us is about our own club. We're talking about Rivers United. It was such a disappointing outing. I know you might have watched that game because it took place in Uyo over the weekend. They scored first, but then capitulated, not holding their own. They were beaten 4-1. In all, they have played 5 games, 3 defeats at home, 1 defeat away, and 1 draw. What does this tell about the Nigerian Premier Football League clubs?
Well, it shows that we are not a serious league. It shows that if we continue the way we are going, the situation we saw with Rivers United will happen again and again. Because, I watched the match, I saw the players of Pyramids. There is no way Rivers United would have survived that team. Even if that game was played 5 times, they would have been beaten 5 times. They've conceded 7 goals. They've conceded 7 goals against Pyramid this particular group stage. The first game they had against Pyramid in Egypt, it was 3-0. And they came back and they did 4 goals. So only out of the 10 goals they've conceded in the 5 matches they played, Pyramids have scored 7 of those goals. And Rivers have only managed 2 goals in all of the 5 matches without a win. That shows you the level of our league. And where is Rivers United? They are current table toppers, apart from the fact that Ikorodu is now top because of the outstanding matches. But they are leaders of the NPFL this season. and the leaders of the Nigerian league can't secure a win out of 5 matches. It shows you where our league is. Pyramid flew into Uyo with a chartered plane a day before the match. The plane stayed at the airport, waited for them. They finished the match. They stayed in the best hotel in Uyo, and after the match, they went straight, entered their charter plane, and went back to their country. And now you ask the question, Rivers United or any Nigerian team will travel out of this country for matches. They will look for the cheapest hotel to stay. They will look for connecting flight that will keep the players for 18 hours on the road before they get to the venue. You don't have the facilities. We don't have the financial muscle. We don't have even the technical know-how of our managers and our players are very low, because even our players are wishing they are in the club their opponent is playing. So it raises a whole lot of concern how we are managing our football. I watched that game with tears in my eyes. I was like, look at where we have come to when it comes to Nigerian football. And I can tell you, Michael, that next year, thank God we have the position. We are on 12. So it means that we'll still be able to produce 4 teams, 2 in the Champions League, 2 in the CAF Confederations Cup. But I can tell you that the same way we'll go is the same way we'll come. And look at Remo Stars, champions of the MPFL. Yeah. They couldn't even pass through the playoffs. True. And now they are struggling in the league. And so it raises questions to professionalism, to favoritism, to violence we see at our stadium, to everything when it comes to organization of the MPFL. So it's a sorry situation that those handling our football should sit back and ask themselves, are they really helping the development of Nigerian football? Are we even worse now than then? Look at Power Dynamos came, defeated us. Everyone beating us. Our champion, our best team is being beaten. Now ask yourself, is there any team in the MPFL that can beat Pyramid FC? I will tell you, there is no team in the current MPFL that can beat the defending champion that defeated Rivers United. So it's a very serious situation, and we hope that somehow you will get to turn around things and play football professionally, because if you don't get it right at home, you cannot get it right in the continent of Africa.
It's a very, very sorry situation, and we hope that Benga Elegbeleye-led Nigerian Premier Football League Board will do everything possible to ensure that at least we get past this very stage, because it's a very, very sorry situation that we cannot compete against some of the teams right here in Africa. And it boils down to our league, just like Basi stated. Take a look at the Egyptian league, the South African league, Tunisian league, Algerian league, even the Malian league, way better compared to the Nigerian Premier Football League. And you may want to spare the coach some blushes, because I saw some fans, throwing tantrums against Finidi George, saying that it's, not worthy. In fact, some say that even cost the Super Eagles a World Cup qualification. But then beyond that, we also need to cut him slack and take a look at how our league is being organized right here.
Even if it was Jose Mourinho that was in charge of that Rivers United against Pyramid, I can tell you for free that he wouldn't have won that match. There is nothing Finidi George would have done. It's a matter of, will it change the players on the pitch, the flexibility, the play of the players, the pace, fast pace of the Egyptians? There's no way you can change it. You cannot give what you don't have. And we must admit it, that we don't have what it takes to beat the North African teams when it comes to CAF competition. It's not even about Finidi George. Finidi George had his own problem. But on the day, were the players fantastic? Absolutely no, they were not fantastic. And this is as a result of our poor league and how we should come back and try to fix things. If not, we'll be facing these issues every year when we go for CAF competition.
All right, we just hope that some sort of solution, will be provided by the league management. But at this point, we'll take a quick break here. When we are back in the second half of the show, we dive straight to Europe and tell you some of the top G's making rounds in the English Premier League. Tonight is going to be a blockbuster game between West Ham United and Manchester United, who are 12-point adrift of the league leaders Arsenal. And don't also forget that Chelsea at the Stamford Bridge will welcome Leeds United. All these and many more will come your way in the second half of the show. Don't go anywhere because we'll be back in a jiffy. All right, you're welcome back from that short break. You are still onto Atlantic Television Network Sport Extraordinary. My name is Emmanuel Michael. I have, a seasoned sports journalist joining me via the studio line this evening, Mr. Basi Biatisoho. In the first half of the show, we told you how Edo State are preparing massively for the second edition of the Niger Delta Games. And in the world of football from the home scene, we told you how Kun Khalifat got all 3 points against Shooting Stars over the weekend, but then, despite that point, they are still rooted at the basement of the league table. And for CAF Champions League, 3 teams have made it through to the quarterfinal. And for our own representative, Rivers United, they've been knocked out with a game to spare. And now it is time for we to head over to Europe and talk about the English Premier League, as former England captain Wayne Rooney believes that Tottenham Hotspur are firmly in relegation battle after their poor run of form continued with a 2-0 defeat by Manchester United over the weekend. They lost at Old Trafford, extended Spurs a winless run in the English Premier League to 7 matches and left Thomas Frank's side 15th in the league table with just 6 points above relegation zone. Mr. Basi, Tottenham Hotspur, under their new manager, Thomas Frank, we thought, yeah, he could be the right man for the job, but then it's not looking that way as they are nearing relegation battle with just a 16-point adrift of relegation, zone. And former English international Wayne Rooney is sounding a note of a warning to Tottenham Hotspur, saying that they might just be relegated if things does not change for good. Do you agree with him?
Well, I think there's going to be a lot of twists and turns the bottom side of the Premier League season because, just like you said, a side like Tottenham Hotspur that you have expected. I mean, this is a team that used to challenge for European place.
Yeah.
But all of a sudden, it seems everything is crashing down at the White Hart Lane. Things are no longer the way they used to be. And like they said, the center can no longer hold it. Players are mentally, which normally should have gotten because you on hot form at the moment. But the question is, Tottenham Hotspur has been very poor, not getting the result, and at every point in time, their poor form and poor result keeps pushing them downwards. And when they go downwards, they are going down to meet the likes of West Ham United, are also struggling to even survive. They are going down to meet the likes of Leeds United, are also struggling. And so it makes, and of course, not forgetting the ones that have been at the base, Wolves. So it makes the competition at the lower round of the table a very interesting one in quotes, because we don't know which of the teams will survive and which team will stay up at the end of the season. But for Tottenham Hotspur, it's not a kind of place we have expected them to be. The new manager has not done well. The players too themselves have not done well, and it's a very big concern for every lover and follower of Tottenham Hotspur.
A very big concern and a worrisome situation for Thomas Frank and his boys, talking about Tottenham Hotspur as they are drifting gradually within the relegation zone. And Wayne Rooney has sounded a note of warning, more like telling them to brace up. If not, they will certainly be relegated this season. Away from that, Galatasaray Victor James Osimhen on Sunday became the club's all-time fourth highest scoring foreign player. Osimhen achieved this feat after scoring a goal in Galatasaray's 3-0 win against Rizespor in the Turkish Super League. Recall that Yılmaz opened the scoring for Galatasaray in the 19th minute before Yunus doubled the lead for the visitors. Osimhen then extended Galatasaray's lead in the 73rd minute as they claimed all 3 points against the hosts. His goal for Galatasaray took him to 52 strikes already for the clubs, surpassing Gomez's 51 goals to become the club's all-time fourth highest scoring foreign player. Galatasaray's all-time scoring foreign player include Mauro Icardi with 73 goals, and then Georgi Hagi with 61 goals, Barros on 61 goals as well, and Victor James Osimhen up there in fourth position with 52 goals. This man, goal machine, he can't stop scoring. He's just creating record everywhere he go. Basi, Victor Osimhen, do you see him staying at Galatasaray at the end of the season, or you see him, moving over to probably the English Premier League?
Well, I think many of his fans and followers would love to see him in the English Premier League. Does he deserve a place there? Yes. Has he done enough to play for the biggest sides? At some point, we even heard, from papers that Real Madrid were considering a move for him. Because I think at this, he has played to a point where we can say, yes, Osimhen is a quality player, material to go to the best clubs in the world. And so, Premier League, yes, but which of the teams is he coming to? I think he should just continue doing his business at Galatasaray at the moment. He breaks record. Remember, he's chasing the record of the highest goal scorer ever in the Super Eagles, and he's just within touch of breaking that record. It's his time, and I would just say he should just enjoy the time, do what he knows how to do best, give all of himself to the game, and for what he has done. He went to Napoli, He was able to stamp his authority in the Italian Serie A. Now he has moved to the Turkish Super League. He's still doing great, meaning that it wasn't just a success of a club, it was an individual success that got him what he got in Napoli. And now he has taken that same form to Galatasaray. We are so happy as Nigerians to see him progress, and we know that this would also rub off on the Super Eagles of Nigeria. And so we wish him more goals, more success in his career.
More goals and more success for Victor James Osimhen as he's tearing the Turkish Super League apart with goals. Away from that, there were some matches that lit up our TV screen last night. From the La Liga, we saw Villarreal beat Espanyol 4-1. And from the Italian Serie A, Atalanta also saw off Cremonese 2-0 as AS Roma also beat Cagliari 2-0. Tonight, Chelsea will welcome Leeds United at the Stamford Bridge. I recall that the first leg in this counter ended 3-1 in favor of Leeds United. Will this be a revenge mission for the Blues tonight?
Well, it should be a revenge mission for them, because this time around is at Stamford Bridge, and the last time they lost against Leeds United, the man Liam Rosenau was not their manager. And look at the form he has been since taking over as the manager of the Blues. 9 matches out of 9, he won 7 matches for Chelsea. And so that should show you that they're on a winning spree at the moment. The confidence at Chelsea has improved. And for them, they believe that they can keep mounting that pressure on Manchester United, so that if Manchester United slip, they can move over to the 4th position or even challenge for a Champions League place. So, they know what it means. Every win now counts for them. Every match counts for them. And so approaching Leeds United, they won't take it easy. And for Leeds United, I think it's a matter of, it's a contrasting situation for them. While Chelsea is up there chasing a Champions League place, a top 4 finish, Leeds United are down here trying to see how to escape relegation. They've not also had it very good. The last 7 or 8 matches on the road, they've not had a win. And so if that form is to continue, or if that start is to go by later on tonight, another road trip for them to Stamford Bridge, I don't think they will have anything, they will take anything away from the Stamford Bridge. But like for the neutrals, I know the Manchester United fans will be hoping that Chelsea draws points. They don't mount more pressure on. But it's a game of football. Anything can happen. Take nothing away from Leeds United. Don't even rely so much on the form that in the last 8 matches on the road, they've not recorded a victory. There's always a starting point. And so for Chelsea, for Liam Rosenau, needs to make sure that he puts his house, puts his team in order to get the result if they must, and then continue to mount for a place in the top 4. 13 matches still left, and so there are 39 points still available to grab for this season. And so you can take nothing away. Anything can happen. The tables can change. And if you get your house right, why not? You can achieve what you want to achieve.
All right. Meanwhile, Everton will be hoping to achieve all 3 points against Bournemouth tonight as well. Tottenham Hotspur, another struggling side, will also welcome Newcastle United, the Magpies. But the big one is West Ham United against Manchester United tonight. Basi, and it dates back in 2024. That is the last time that Manchester United got a positive result against the Hammers. Tonight, Manchester United travel away from home to play West Ham United. United are 12-point adrift of Arsenal Football Club with 13 games to go, and seeing the improved performance of Manchester United under their interim coach, Michael Carrick. Do you think that Manchester United are in for the title chase?
In for a title chase will be being too ambitious from the Manchester United standpoint. Being that they started the season poorly, they struggled almost throughout the season. I think the only time they've had a relief and this long period of wins and no heartbreak is during this era of Michael Carrick. And so they are chasing their fifth consecutive win in the Premier League. Started with Manchester City, moved to Arsenal, moved to Fulham, and then Tottenham was the latest victim as the last weekend. But can they push for a title? The answer is yes. 12 points adrift of Arsenal, no doubt. How many points are available? 39 points are available. If Manchester United continues with this winning streak they are going on, let's assume they don't drop any points in their last 13 matches. What do you think will happen? I think they can win the league. So the question is it possible to stay on the next 13 matches and not drop points and not lose matches? That's what we don't know. But for now, it's a fantastic time for them. 4 out of 4, they've gotten the result. They are chasing their fifth, win consecutively under Michael Carrick. Michael Carrick definitely has brought in what Amorim, their former manager, did not do. And I think the boys are happy. The boys are playing for the manager. The boys are excited. The confidence is back at the Theatre of Dreams, Old Trafford, and the boys are just happy. So playing tonight against West Ham at the London Stadium is going to be a cracker. But if they continue with the form they've been, and of course they continue with the way they are going, they should be able to get a win. I think the only big player that will be missing tonight, is it a big player? One of the consistent players they've had is going to be Patrick Dogu, who may not be available to start. But aside that, every other player, especially the ones he used last weekend against Tottenham Hotspur, I expect his team to remain largely unchanged going into tonight's game. And if that's the case, then you can bet that if you're able to do it against City, do it against Arsenal, do it against Fulham, do it against Tottenham Hotspur, why not? They can do it against West Ham. West Ham too, no pushovers. Out of their last 4 matches, they recorded 3 wins, and so you should also know that they are going against a side that may not be in the class of Manchester United, but again a very stubborn side. So to answer your question, yes, for me, I think their biggest ambition this season should be a Champions League qualification. But if they are able to push themselves into the Champions League place, why not? They can challenge for the title if Arsenal let their guard down. 12 points, if you let 12 points slip past you, and then you have a side like Manchester United now pushing themselves to challenge, it means Arsenal may never have it again, another opportunity to win, because for me, this is their best season ever. They are challenging for the 4 titles, the Champions League, the Carabao Cup, the Premier League, and all of those. So if they allow this slip past them, then maybe they should just call anything Premier League title over for them. But it's definitely not going to be easy for my side like Manchester United to move from where they are to now challenge for the Premier League title.
All right, Basi, let me put you on the spot before we leave. West Ham versus Manchester United. Who takes all 3 points tonight?
I think it's Manchester United. It should be a 2-1, a 2-1 in favor of Manchester United.
All right, this is where we'll be dropping the anchor for this evening edition of the show. But Basi, I must thank you so much for finding time out of your busy schedule to join us on the show this evening.
Thank you very much. It's always a delight to talk sport with you anytime, any day. Thank you.
All right, this is where we stop the show for this evening. You can do well to join us tomorrow morning 7 to 8 a.m. when we'll make a return here for Sport Talk. And in the evening, 6 to 7 p.m., we'll also be back here to take you through some of the exciting and scintillating stories popping up from the ever-busy world of sport. I did a show this evening alongside Basi Ebiatisoho, a seasoned journalist all the way from Uyo, to be precise. My name is Emmanuel Michael, the Prime Minister of the Airwaves. You can go down to our different social media handle and, of course, follow us up. We'll continue the conversation there. But for now, we are saying have a very beautiful night rest ahead.